Yeah. So hi everyone. You people can switch on your cameras so that I can see your faces as well. Those who are comfortable, please switch on your cameras. And none of you are comfortable. Treat it as an offline class, na? Just imagine that if my face is not visible and just screen is visible, so obviously it will not be a very good interaction. So that is why hello Sindhya, thank you. Sanidhya, sorry. Sanidhya Jan. Okay. Others also please switch on your cameras. Hi Anushka. Yeah. Because seeing the faces is always a better experience for the students as well as for the teachers. Hello, Vipin. Okay. So, I welcome you all to the strategy discussion of geography, especially dedicated to the upcoming prelims, right? How many of you have read geography at least once? Not in the class, once on your own. Anyone? इसका एक बार कंप्लीट हो चुका है ओके सानिध्य हैज डन या हेलो साहित्य Anushka has done it. Okay. So, okay, Vipin Kumar has done. So, majority of you have done geography at least once. So, we'll test it in today's session that what is the level of reading what which you have gone through the geography for once. Okay. So, when we come to the geography, there is some difference when it comes to geography preparation vis-a-vis the other subjects. Obviously, the basics remain same, है ना? Because everything you have to read, you have to memorize, you have to write, you have to make notes. So those things remain same. But when it comes to geography, especially in the prelims examination, we have seen that a lot of factual questions also come. Okay, and most of the factual questions are from the mapping sections, right? Because most of you have already gone through the geography and you already know the syllabus. So if we have to divide geography, we know that few questions come from world map, few questions are from Indian map. These questions are factual in nature, but a good amount of questions are also asked from the conceptual geography, which we can put it in the physical geography aspect. Okay, so you will be seeing a lot of questions from climatology, from oceanography, from Indian monsoon, etc. sections. Especially in the last prelims, a lot of questions have come. We will see in today's session that how the PYQs change across year after year. So we will see that in 2024 prelims what type of questions were asked, in 2023 what type of questions were asked, and they were, most of the questions were entirely different. Okay, so there was a different set of mind for the examiner. So that is true for every subject. ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि इस साल पॉलिटी के क्वेश्चन किसी और तरह के एंड द नेक्स्ट ईयर द पॉलिटी क्वेश्चन आर डिफरेंट. सेम इज ट्रू फॉर हिस्ट्री, सेम इज ट्रू फॉर एवरी सब्जेक्ट, बिकॉज जनरली वी फील दैट इफ देर आर अराउंड 7 to 8 subjects which are asked in prelims, so few subjects every year will be slightly on a tougher side and few subjects will be slightly on a lighter side. Okay, so same is true with geography also, right? So if we have to see a division that in from which sections how many questions have been asked year after year, because this will give you some signals or some important conclusions. Okay, so if we divide the geography into some sections like world map, Indian map, geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, and then human geography part. Okay, so now here I have combined India's map with historical, physical as well as resource based questions. There can be few questions from history also. Let's say they ask that where is the Dholavira site located? Now you can take it in the ancient history, Harappan civilization, or if you have read Atlas well, so there also you will see in Gujarat map you have there is a location Dholavira. Same is true for Lothal. Are you getting it? So it doesn't matter कि इसको history में डालो या geography में डालो. The point is that you should gain 2 marks from the question. Okay, so this is my classification. Then geomorphology we all know. When we read climatology, so climatology and natural vegetation I have combined. Okay, why? Because we see that the natural vegetation is the direct outcome of the climate prevailing in a particular region. Okay, Koppen's classification, remember? So Koppen has said that the natural vegetation is the outcome of a climate of a region. Mainly climatic parameters which Koppen has taken is temperature and precipitation. So in climatology, we are reading temperature and precipitation, which is directly impacting what? The natural vegetation. Okay. So when we talk about ecosystems and biomes and their climatic characteristics, there we also talk about the natural system, that this particular ecosystem is having a taiga type forest, this particular ecosystem is having a grassland type vegetation, है ना? Similarly, in Indian context, we read about a lot of forests like shola forest, we read desert vegetation, we read. Okay, so this I have combined the section. Then we have oceanography, and then the last section is the human geography part, where the questions come from agriculture resources, or you can say current affairs based questions. Let's say in this year also and in the previous prelims also, for 2 consecutive years, you must have seen the questions which are asked on the location of port. Acha. Up now port location, if you want to keep it in the Indian map, you can keep there. If you want to keep it in the current affairs section, you can keep it here. I have kept it in the human resources wala part. Okay, so this is my classification, just in order to understand that which sections are more important, which sections are less important. Only then you can give a specific focus to particular section if you know that this is the quite trend or pattern of this particular paper. Starting from 2015 up to 2023, because 2024 we will be discussing it with the help of the questions actually. Okay, so yahan pe it is up to 2023. If we see the questions from the world map, now this world map based questions, again when we see, most of the questions are from two sections. One is geography and one is the IR based questions. Okay, so let's, if have you people gone through previous year papers like 22, 23 and 24, just 3 years paper? So for example, in 2023 and 2022, I guess, I'm not sure about the year, the question was asked in relation to the boundaries of Ukraine. Now this topic can be put in IR also, because Ukraine war is in news, was in news, पता नहीं कब तक रहेगा वो, है ना? And this topic can be, you can put it in world maps also. The bordering countries of Mediterranean Sea, the bordering countries of Caspian Sea. Okay, so this is a point. So when we see the question from world map from 2015 to 16 up to 23, you will see 2 1 2 1 1, and then in 2023 abrupt jump, 4 questions were asked. Okay, when we see India's map questions in 2015, 7 number, 2017 6, then it declined, and 23 again it rose to 5. Right. When it comes to geomorphology, so when it comes to prelims, geomorphology is slightly on a lighter note. Less number of questions have been asked from geomorphology. When it comes to mains, a lot of questions have been asked from geomorphology. For example, if you have again gone through the PYQs of the mains, you must have found the questions on mental plume. You must have found questions on plate tectonics. You must have found questions on volcanoes. है ना? You must have last year in mains there were very famous question came regarding a landform. Which landform was asked? Fjords. So fjord landform question was asked on fjords. So again, fjord is what? A geomorphic feature. है ना? So in mains you find questions from geomorphology, but in prelims see nil, 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 then 2, 1, then nil, then 2, then nil, then 1. Right? Similarly, in mains, the questions have been asked on primary rocks, again geomorphology. लेकिन prelims में उतना नहीं है. Okay. When it comes to climatology and natural vegetation, 4 questions, then nil, then 1, nil, nil, 1, nil, 3, 3. In 2024 also there have been questions. Okay. Oceanography 2, nil, nil, 1, nil, 1, 1, nil, 1. Okay. When it comes to human geography, because in human geography we have combined a lot of sections, agriculture is here, resources are here, and current affairs are also here. So obviously you will find a lot of questions, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 8, 4, 2, 3. So every year you obviously you are going to find some questions from either current affairs or sources or agriculture. So we can say that the number of questions from geography in prelims range somewhat around between 6 till 17 and 18 questions. In 2024, 16 questions have come from geography. Okay. Previous year 17, then 9, then 10, then 12. So we can say that on an average, if we have to speak, so 10 से 15 questions तो आ ही रहे हैं. If we bar the exceptional years like 6, 9, so in general, 10 questions, 12 questions are coming, which takes geography to the weightage of around 20 to 30 marks out of 200. But reading geography, a lot of questions when you see the atlas, and this also I keep on repeating in the classes also, that when you read atlas, some questions are directly asked from the geography, but some questions, some reading the atlas will also help you indirectly in answering other questions. Let us say that question came that Kaziranga National Park is located on which bank of Brahmaputra, light or ref. So now, काजीरंगा नेशनल पार्क यू कैन टेक इट इन द एनवायरमेंट सेक्शन, है ना. तो अब इसको विल टेक इट इन द एनवायरमेंट सेक्शन, बट इफ यू हैव गॉन थ्रू द एटलस वेरी वेल, देन यू कैन आंसर दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन ऑल्सो. Similarly, as we have discussed the example of Dholavira, so you can take it in the history, doesn't matter, but reading the atlas well can help you indirectly in the other subjects also. Okay, so there was a question, I guess in 2015 or 16, which asked, there were options about 4 national parks. There was a paragraph written and few features were given. And the question was termed in a format that which of the following national parks best resembles the features giving above. Okay, so there the features were, one feature was about the soil type, one feature was regarding the altitude variation, one feature was regarding the climatic variation, and one feature was regarding the wildlife species. Now, no matter you keep this question in geography or environment, doesn't matter. But if you have read geography well, and you know the location of the national parks, so that is an applied question. You will see the options. For example, Namdapha National Park. So you will see Namdapha is located where? Okay, it is located in that particular point. Is there an altitudinal variation which will be told to you by physiography of India? Is there some river which is mentioned in the paragraph which will be told to you by the drainage of India? Is there changes in climate which will be told to you by climate of India? है ना? So you have read those things in geography, but the question have been asked in environment. So that is how reading the atlas can help you in indirectly answering the questions. Now, if we see this particular thing, is this thing telling anything about the relative importance? For example, we have discussed कि geomorphology से ज़्यादा सवाल नहीं आते हैं. Okay, that not many questions are asked in prelims of geomorphology. So can we leave it? No, we cannot leave it. Geography is one of that subject which is static in nature and also has a defined syllabus. So geography basically can help you to score more in your exam. History is also static in nature, but the syllabus of history is very vast. Ancient art and culture में से वो कहाँ से question पूछ देगा, you will not get an idea. Geography में ऐसा नहीं है. Okay, so geography में most of the questions we will see the 2023 PYQs also in today's class, which is termed by some as one of the most difficult papers when it comes to questions of geography. 2023 paper. Even the most difficult paper, we'll see that how we can answer those questions. ठीक है? So we cannot leave any section and we don't have to leave any particular section. For example, Köppen classification. So generally people leave Köppen classification with it, which is given in NCERT. Okay, so in India's geography, also in Indian climate, it is given, and in class 11 fundamentals of physical geography, in world geography also Köppen classification is given, right? Till now, not many questions, not even a single question was asked. But in 2024 prelims, they asked one question. Question simple है. Köppen अगर नहीं भी पढ़ा होगा, you just know the basics of Köppen, just the names, even then you can solve it. But the point is that geography is one of those subjects where you should not leave anything. Each and every line, each and every word, each and every diagram, which is given in your class 11th NCERTs, India as well as World Physical, वो मतलब एक तरह से घोट के पी लो उसको. Okay, so treat it like your religious book and just memorize it word by word, understand it by line. आज देखेंगे हम how to read NCERTs also. एकदम मतलब स्कूल में चले जाएंगे कि किताब कैसे पढ़नी है. We'll discuss all those things. Okay, so this is the thing. What are the major conclusions which can help you? One, Basically, three types of questions are asked in geography: physical conceptual questions, factual questions, and the combination of concept and fact. Okay, like this. We'll see some with the help of some questions also. So, few questions will be combined, right? Every year, around 1 to 2 questions are asked from the world maps. So that means you don't have to leave world maps. In these world maps, the questions are related to physical features like lakes, mountains, deserts, etc. The questions are related to political features like bordering countries, like states, regions, etc. And again, the combination of these. So there will be a question having three statements. The first statement will be towards the physical feature. The second statement might be towards the political boundary. है ना? If they have to increase the difficulty level, so that is the combination of the questions they can be asked. Okay, ठीक है. For example, I can frame a question that the first question is talking about the, let's say, formation of Mediterranean Sea, which will be a physical feature. And the second statement can talk about the bordering countries of the Mediterranean Sea, which will be a political boundary. So which of the above statements are correct? One, two, both, none. So this will be the combination of the question, right? Next, questions from the Indian maps. Same things repeat as here. Physical feature, political boundaries, combination of both. With addition, we have discussed like historical sites, है ना, Dholavira, Lothal, etc. Rivers related questions. Now, this is the most important section. Most of the questions have been asked from the rivers itself, related to the main river, tributaries, dams, reservoirs, left bank tributaries, right bank tributaries, rivers passing through a national park, and the basin states. Not many questions have been asked from the basin states, but we expect this year or in the coming years, basin states bhi पूछेंगे. Why? Because interstate river water disputes are rising. Okay, so if interstate river water disputes are rising, so obviously you should, from the political polity aspect, you should know that what interstate water river tribunals, ठीक है, कौन सा article है, which is the what are the constitutional provisions, which are the states which are fighting for a particular river. From the geography's perspective, you should know that which are the basin states of a particular river. If let's say river Krishna is flowing, so which are the basin states of river Krishna, right? Overlapping themes, as we have discussed with the help of the question Nandapa National Park. Climate भी पूछ लिया, soil conditions भी पूछ लिया of a specific national park. So it is basically an overlapping theme that a lot of information is given, and you have to find what an intersection of all those information which is given. So if you are able to find an intersection, the place which is satisfying all these information which is given, that will be the answer, right? एंड नेक्स्ट इज द कॉन्सेप्चुअल फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी से डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस आते हैं अराउंड 3 to 4 डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस. ये तो गलत होने नहीं चाहिए. दिस विल बी अ सिन. ओके, इफ द क्वेश्चंस आर कमिंग, देखो, it is very common sensical thing. If the questions are coming from river tributaries, because there are many rivers, the tributaries are also many in number, it might happen that you forget the name of tributary on the day of the examination because it is factual. वो गलत अगर हो जाएगा ना तो बहुत दुख नहीं होगा. But you will repent if you mark your answer incorrect when the questions are directly asked from the NCERT physical geography. For example, question on P waves and S waves. Which one are the longitudinal waves? Which one are the transverse waves? अगर यही गलत कर दिया तो फिर your chances to select will go down. Okay? क्योंकि ये किसी का गलत नहीं होने वाला. Right? Then human geography, the fifth portion, agriculture related question. Again, some questions are factual in nature. For example, which of the following states is the largest producer of tea, coffee, wheat, sugarcane? Factual questions हो सकते हैं. Now, this data is also dealt in economy, है ना? Because economic survey comes up with this fact every year. Similarly, there will be some applied questions also, for example, where knowledge of geography, environment, economy, and current affairs related. For example, there are 2, 3 statements. First statement is talking about a region of a particular crop. Second statement, let us say that it is talking about that whether MSP is being provided on that crop or not. अब ये ज्योग्राफी में ले जाओ, इकोनॉमी में ले जाओ, इंटरसेक्शन में ले आओ, अलग बात है. Okay, but the thing is that applied questions are asked where the knowledge from geography, knowledge from economy, knowledge from polity, history, everything will come into play. Okay, See the some of the examples. Okay. Physical conceptual question. 2015 says, in the South Atlantic and Southeastern Pacific regions, in tropical latitudes, cyclone does not originate. What is the reason? I am not interested in the answers. Okay, we are not discussing PYQs here. The thing is, I want to you people to understand with the help of PYQs that the categories which we have decided, 5 categories, and the number of questions, the conclusions which we have drawn, वो कैसे ground पे आ रहे हैं. Okay. So here, this is a physical conceptual questions. इसमें ना current affair है, there is no Indian geography, there is no fact. You just have to see these things. Then you have to, because we have understood, we know that what are the conditions responsible for the formation of tropical cyclones. We know this particular region. So we just have to overlap this region with the conditions which we know as responsible for formation. And then we have to see that in with this particular region, which of that tropical, those conditions are not actually met. तो इन एरियाज में जो एक कंडीशन मीट नहीं हो रही होगी, दैट विल बी द आंसर, रीजन रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर नो फॉर्मेशन ऑफ साइक्लोन. फैक्ट कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्वेश्चन. Come to this factual question 2017. With reference to river Teesta, consider the following statements. The source of the river Teesta is so and so. River Rangit originates in Sikkim and is a tributary. River Teesta flows into Bay of Bengal on the borders of India and Bangladesh. Now this is a factual question. Everything is related to a fact related to river Teesta and its basin, tributary, its flow direction, and its origin. Okay. So this also tells you that when you people are studying rivers, so you have to trace a path of a river. You have to start from the origin of river towards the end of river. You have to see the basin states which are involved, and then you have to see the tributaries also which are involved. And then you have to see the if there are any important cities on the banks of those rivers. Is there any national parks on the banks of those rivers? है ना? So when you are reading rivers, that is why always read rivers through atlas and through the IAS compass booklet which we have provided to you. So if you have gone through that booklet, in that booklet we have hand drawn maps for every major river of India, for every tributary of that river. All the basin states are mentioned, all the important dams, reservoirs. So all those are drawn. ठीक है, हाथ से बनाए हैं, बहुत मेहनत लगी है, तो डोंट लेट इट गो वेस्ट, पढ़ना उसको. It will help you in order to understand the north-south arrangement of river tributaries, north-south arrangement of hills and plateaus, east and west arrangement, all those things. Okay. Now this is the applied question. Ask me, for example, 2020 question I have taken. One says jet streams occur in the northern hemisphere only. Second says only some cyclones develop an eye. And third says the temperature inside the eye of cyclone is nearly 10 degrees Celsius. Now this is a conceptual question also, but why have I kept it in the applied portion? Because this requires you to apply the knowledge. We'll take up this question in today's class just few minutes later, and then we'll understand that why I kept this question under the applied category, and this question will also tell you how you have to approach NCRTs, right? How many of you have gone through class 11th Fundamentals of Physical Geography NCRTs? How many of you have gone through this NCRT? Okay, majority of you have gone. Now let me change my question. How many of you have gone through Fundamentals of Physical Geography class 11th NCRT 4 times? Then it will go 5 times, then 6 times. So as many times you will read class 11th NCRT's Indian Physical, it will help you. मतलब यही मैं बार बार कहना चाहता हूँ. Okay. You give me just one example in last 10 years in prelims, the questions which has come in geography and is not solvable by NCRT, but is solvable by any other book. If the questions is not solvable by NCRT, then that question is also not solvable by any other book in mains as well as prelims, especially in prelims. Mains mein, yes, there are books which can answer. For example, water mass question was asked. So water mass का concept is not there in NCRT, but it is there in other books. लेकिन prelims में नहीं मिलता है. और अगर कोई एक आध क्वेश्चन मिल भी जाएगा, so obviously we know that we don't have to rush for that specific type of knowledge. Is the screen clearly visible? Can you read the questions? Okay. So these are some of the questions which were asked in 2023 prelims. Anjali, are you having some doubt? Your hand is raised, so that's why I'm asking. Okay. So now, these are some of the questions which were asked in 23 prelims UPSC. And this was considered as one of the difficult papers, I will say, for geography. ठीक है, geography के लिए थोड़ा difficult paper था. We'll see how. See the first question. River Jhelum passes through the Wooler Lake. ठीक है, आसान statement because we have read about Indus River system, Wooler Lake, Jhelum River. We can think about it. Krishna River directly feeds Koleru Lake. इस पे भी we can think something about it. Okay. When it comes to the meandering of the Gandak River formed Kanwar Lake. Now this is a statement which is troublesome. One, first you need to know that where Kanwar Lake is located. Answer to this comes from the current affairs because the Kanwar Lake was designated as a Ramsar site in Bihar. Even if you know that the Kanwar Lake is located in Bihar, then comes whether it is located on river Gandak or some other river of Bihar. Let's say you know that it is somewhat in the Gandak basin. Even then you can mark this answer incorrect because UPSC marked this statement incorrect. Why? Because it took Kamar Lake not on the bank, not of because of the meandering of Gandak, but because of the meandering of Budi Gandak. अब यार इतना तो कोई नहीं पढ़ सकता है. This is true. Even if I give you the atlas to solve this question, you will not be able to mark. You might get confused. Right? So that is why I consider this to be a difficult question. Okay. Come second. Consider the following pairs: Kamarajar Port, Mundra Port, Vishakhapatnam Port. And then there are certain facts. First major port in India registered as a company, largest privately owned port in India, largest container port in India. Again, I will say that this question is also a difficult question. Because in generally, obviously, हम नहीं पढ़ते हैं यार कौन सा privately owned है कौन सा ये है मतलब. I would not be able to mark this question if अगर आपको पता है then you can mark it. Okay. So maybe I would have left the question or कुछ calculated guess I would have taken. Come to this question. Consider the following trees: jackfruit, mahua, and teak. How many above are the deciduous trees? This is an easy question because it is talking about just the trees variety and because we read a lot about natural vegetation of India and the examples of deciduous trees, coniferous trees, etc. So this can be marked. We are just trying to identify the number of questions which we could have marked in the most difficult paper of geography which have been asked till now. तो देखते हैं कितने हम कर सकते थे कितने नहीं कर सकते थे. Come to this. Consider the following pairs. India has more arable area than China. The proportion of irrigated area is more in India as compared to China. The average productivity per hectare in Indian agriculture is higher than that in China. Again, because it is talking about the facts, and to be very true, these two facts are not very well documented. So I will consider this question also as a difficult question. Okay. Which one of the following is the best example of repeated falls in the sea level, giving rise to present-day extensive marshlands? Basic Indian geography questions where you read about the submergence and emergence of the Indian coast, and along with this, you read about the formation of Kutch as well as the Thar Desert. Okay, so there you get this answer. So this is an easy question. I will mark it an easy one. Next. Ilmenite and rutile abundantly available in certain coastal tracts. So if you have gone through this information, then you can mark. But in general, when we read resources, so obviously we do not read about ilmenite and rutile. If you are having some background in that subject, तो हो सकता है किसी का mark हो जाएगा. But again, I will call this question also as difficult. I am just marking those questions as easy, which you can directly solve through the NCRTs. ठीक है? Next, about 3/4 of the world's cobalt of metal required for manufacturing of batteries, that is cobalt, is mainly found in which of these regions? Again, this is also an easy question, because when you do the world maps, so there you come across the regions which are famous for such resources like cobalt सबसे ज़्यादा कहाँ है, copper कहाँ है ना, shale gas कहाँ पे मिलती है, which region is very famous for iron ores, which region is very famous for coffee production. So we do read about it. So from there, this is a relatively easy question. Next slide. Amarkantak Hills location in Vindhya Sayadri, Bili Granjan Hills and Sheshachalam Hills. So we read about Amarkantak, we read about Sheshachalam, but Bili Granjan, this hills is not very much read about. ठीक है, तो इसको I keep it in moderate levels. Depending on the options, if you are able to eliminate few things or not. So depending on the options, depending upon your reading, this is relatively a moderate question. How many of the above mentioned countries share the land border with Ukraine? This I will keep in easy question, क्योंकि पूरा साल अखबार में था ही यूक्रेन. Okay, so for last 1 to 1.5 year, you come, you see Indian Express, you see the Hindu newspaper in explained page, in text and context page, whenever the historical context of Russia Ukraine war was given, so they always explained it with the help of maps भी देते हैं वो बना के अखबार में. Okay, so if you have not gone through those newspapers, if you have left the borders of Ukraine in last year or last year, तो वो तो अपनी गलती हो गई ना. But this question is relatively easy. Which, with reference to the Earth's atmosphere, which one of the following statement is correct? Basic climatology. The total amounts, so options, all the options are basic climatology. Again, an easy question, right? With reference to India's project on connectivity, East-West Corridor, Trilateral Highway, and Bangladesh BCIM, because these corridors are given in links with some cities. If you know, then you can mark. If not, then you can't mark. So again, a moderate level question. Because we are aware about the highways, but cities में कभी हो सकता है पता हो, कुछ पता है, कुछ नहीं पता है. So a moderate level question. In a seismograph, P waves and S waves, and then the question related to the seismic waves. Again, physical conceptual, easy question. Okay. Last two questions. The soil in the tropical rainforest is rich in nutrients, basic soil and climate question. And then the reason given for it, you have to identify whether this is true or not. We have read about leaching, we have read about the soils and organic content and its relation with the climate of a region. Okay, because we have read about the soils in evergreen forest, we have read about the soils in the temperate forests. Okay, so again, an easy question. Next, the temperature contrast between continents and ocean is greater during summers. Oceanography, the specific heat of water, assertion reason. Again, physical conceptual, easy question. Now, this is telling you that why I said that marking a question incorrect, which is asked from conceptual physical geography, will be a sin. Kyunki, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I have taken 13 questions as reference. This is considered as one of the difficult papers in geography. Out of 13 questions, we can see that this question is from climatology, this question is from climatology, right? This question is from climatology, basic physical geography. This question is from physical geography. So 4 questions out of 13 questions are coming from physical geography, which are easy in nature. You have to mark them correct. Okay. Out of these 13 questions, how many questions were easy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 questions, 13 questions में से, if we are saying that they are easy in the most difficult paper of geography. So this tells you the fact that geography is actually a scoring subject when it comes to prelims. Similarly, we say this for the questions in polity if they are coming from constitution directly. वो question तो नहीं गलत होने चाहिए ना यार. Interpretation based question can go wrong. Factual questions in geography can go wrong, but not the conceptual questions. Now let us see few of the questions which are asked in 2024 prelims. Okay. See, Statement 1, atmosphere is heated more by incoming solar radiation, and statement 2, carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in atmosphere. Basic climatology, है ना? Just the understanding of this thing can help you to answer this. Next, the thickness of the troposphere at the equator is much greater. मतलब you read about the vertical layers of the atmosphere, पहला chapter है जो climatology का. There you will get the answer. Right? Next, which products are released during volcanic eruptions? Basic thing. Next, isothermal maps से question आया हुआ है. Again, this is also simple question. Difficult नहीं है ये question. Okay, the isotherms deviate to the north. So we have read in oceanography that when you move from ocean to continents during summers, then the isotherm deviation is towards north or south, and then the rest 3 permutation combinations we have studied. Asan question. Then the map based question, धुआंधार waterfalls, regions and river. So you have to find the overlapping. ऐसा नहीं है सिर्फ waterfall and region is not given and just the waterfall and river is not given. There are 3 columns. So there might be incorrect river, there might be incorrect region also. But we have gone through the river, region and waterfall, so map based question easy. Then you have to locate the tributaries in west to east arrangement of river Ganga. This question is difficult, I would say. Yes, we all know all these tributaries. In fact, between Gandak and Kosi, it is relatively easier to find that which is towards west and which is towards east. You open up the atlas and try to identify between Ghagra and Gomti, which is towards west. Even looking at the atlas, it will not be very easy that which one is at the west. So ISCO, I can say that this is relatively a difficult question. Okay. Then again, 3 column based questions, region, mountain ranges and types of mountains, basic world map, physical geography. We all know about all these areas, all these mountains and all the types. Then water vapor, again basic climatology, where do we find maximum presence of water vapor, near the Earth's surface or in the upper atmosphere? What is the reason for this? Then if we talk about, yeah, this was the question which I was talking about from the Köppen classification, that even if you have not done specifically the Köppen classification, but you have gone through in QIP classes, those I can see some of the older faces also. So those who have attended the QIP classes, they must be knowing the fact that we go through the world climatic regions. है ना? So if you know the name of the world climatic regions and where is it located, implementing with the fundamentals of geography, that is the climatology, because we are aware about shifting of pressure belts, we are aware that in which season which areas can receive what type of rainfall. If you know the names of the climatic regions and where they are present, then this answer could have been marked correct. Okay. If you are not aware about the basic names and the areas where these regions are located, तो फिर ये question नहीं होगा. Right? So that is why I will say that this is a moderate level question. मैं easy नहीं बोलूँगा. Moderate level question. You can attempt it. Here, Coriolis force, just a basic question. Increase with wind velocity, maximum at pole or at equator. Simple. Then on summer solstice question, कहाँ पे होता है सूरज, कहाँ पे होती है चंद्रमा? Basic questions are there. है ना? Winter solstice, summer solstice. Yeah. So we have gone through majority of the questions which were asked in 24 and 23. In 24, you must have got a feeling that most of the questions are solvable because you are not finding many questions which are difficult. In 2023, still there were around 5 to 6 questions which we categorized it in a difficult section, है ना? अब इस साल कैसा आएगा? We do not know. हो सकता है इस साल the geography can be the most difficult one. So there are 15 questions. Let's say you were able to solve only 5 of them. Always remember, if you are able to solve 5 of them, तो बाकी लोग भी 5 ही solve कर रहे हैं. They cannot solve 15 out of 15 if the paper is difficult. Okay. Out of the changing trends and changing patterns, irrespective of difficulty levels, irrespective of that which section gained prominence in this year's paper or that year's paper, because we cannot predict future, we don't have to maximize our resources. Okay, we just have to follow the resources which we have been following since many years. जो सब पढ़ रहे हैं वही हमें पढ़ना है. So that is why you need to optimize your resources from where to read, what to read. And that is why these are the basic books which you have to read. Class 11th Fundamentals of Physical Geography, Class 11th India's Physical Environment, RAU'S IAS Foundation Compass, which is there on your ELEARN section in study material section. वहाँ से download करो. This book is really very important. So these is the foundation books. Above this is the only book which you have to refer. ठीक है? Lot of things have been simplified and a lot of things have been added also in NCERT, which we felt that they are relevant sections. For example, a lot of students ask that whether we have to go for GC Leong book or not. If you ask me, I would say that it is not required. Just go through NCERTs, because some of the important sections of GC Leong from general studies perspective, we have taken those sections in the IAS compass. Okay, so few sections have been taken, लेकिन पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. Still, if you feel तो जिसकी जैसी श्रद्धा वो पढ़े. Then is the atlas. You have to read atlas. Whenever you are reading NCERT, your foundation notes, IS compass, if some place comes up, you have to locate that place in the atlas, make it your habit. है ना, एटलस एटलस खेलना शुरू हो जाओ क्लास घर पे. So because you have to make it a habit, because it will develop your observational skills and you will be able to locate the areas which are asked in the questions. Okay. Then once you have gone through this, the next source is obviously PYQs. ये तो देखना ही है. And the test series, because in test series, obviously a lot of things will be revised, a lot of new information will be given to you, and obviously it will test your knowledge and will help you to develop answer marking skills. Uske baad, obviously we are having the QIP classes, so we obviously will go through the QIP classes. इसके beyond नहीं पढ़ना है भाई 30 marks के लिए, और भी बहुत चीजें हैं पढ़ने के लिए. Okay. Yeah. Now, abhi tak, what we have done is that we have just understood the theory of preparation. Okay, कि भाई these are the PYQs which have been asked. This is the relative trend, and there is no trend when it comes to UPSC. So don't live in a myth that there is some kind of trend. Okay, फिर ये पढ़ना ये पढ़ना ये पढ़ना. This is theory. This was all about theory. Now come to practical, that you know that what things have to be read, but how you have to read, because this is a perpetual challenge कि सर याद नहीं हो रहा है, इतनी सारी चीजें हैं that we are not able to memorize it. Not only true for geography, for other subjects also. That is why reading, writing, and revision, this is important. This is also important. This is the most important. You have to write while you are reading. Writing does not mean that you have to make notes. Okay? Writing just means you have to scribble down something. So let's say you are reading NCERT, you are reading tropical cyclones chapter. Okay. So let's say if I have to make notes out of tropical cyclones, what is the difference? If I have to make notes out of tropical cyclones, so I will give a heading tropical cyclones. Then I will write that they are the low pressure areas. Then I will write that they are of two types. One is temperate, one is tropical. There will be complete sentences, etc. What do I understand by scribbling? Because I have gone through tropical cyclones many of times, so I already know that tropical cyclones are low pressure area. This I don't have to write. I already know that they are of two types, tropical, temperate. I don't have to write. What I have to write it, if it is saying that tropical cyclones can recurve their path. Now this is some additional information. So I will, in my rough notebook, I will write tropical cyclones recurving. And then I will keep on rotating my pen on this word, and I will keep on looking at this word so that it gets imprinted in my mind. So when you are reading, give some time to the things which you are reading. ऐसे भागना नहीं है कि आज शाम तक इंडियन ज्योग्राफी खत्म करनी थी क्योंकि मेरे शेड्यूल के हिसाब से यही था. Take one more day, but read it slow, read it to understand, read it to memorize the things. So you have to scribble down when you are writing. Okay? Yeah. So Read this paragraph taken from the NCRT. Is this visible clearly to all of you? This paragraph? Read this paragraph and try to find out important information which you think that you will be writing while scribbling. अब exercise करेंगे हम. So read the paragraph, take 1.5 minute and see this picture, entire picture, and study it basically. Then we'll solve the question. Study it. Done? Now attempt the question. 2020. Try to mark the answer. So what do you think about the third statement? Third statement, the temperature inside the eye of a cyclone is nearly 10 degrees Celsius lesser than that of the surroundings. Is this correct or incorrect? The new students who are here, they have to answer first. Okay. Is there anything written in this picture about the temperature inside the eye of a cyclone, whether it is more or less? Is there anything written in this picture? Okay, Harsha is saying no, it is not written. Others? अब अगर मैं ऐसे बोल रहा हूं तो लिखा ही होगा, है ना? So here in this picture, what is it written? Subsiding warm air. So if warm air is subsiding, so temperature will increase, it cannot reduce, right? So this is the way how you have to approach NCRT. Now I gave you the live demo, na? I gave you the time to see the picture, to read everything which is written, and then there was a PYQ. Even then, we were not able to answer this particular statement with the help of the picture. We were having the pre existing knowledge, that's a different thing. But were we able to answer this thing from this particular picture? No. Why? Because we have not developed the observational skills, especially for the diagrams. We just read this. Okay. And also, second thing is that if you have read this and you are very well versed with geography, okay, you are aware about the concepts. So the first line it is written, the eye is a region of calm with subsiding air. So if the air is subsiding, so we can derive an information that the subsiding air warms because of the adiabatic changes. So अगर तो ये knowledge है, so you should develop the analytical skills that when you are reading a statement subsiding air, so there should be a question कि यार cyclone में तो there was a convection, the winds were rising. So the question should directly come to your mind कि यहाँ पे subside क्यों हो गया? Because if such type of questions will hit your mind, only then you will be curious to know the answers. And when you will be curious to know the answers, तो वही UPSC पूछ लेगा एक statement के अंदर. Okay, so now onwards, when you are reading NCRTs, just read the lines, try to interpret the lines, read in between the lines, and give equal attention to the diagrams which are given in NCRTs. What is the labeling? And if you find something strange that cyclone में हवा ऊपर जा रही थी, still in center you have subsiding warm air, try to find what is the reason for this. Okay. Next comes this test analysis. Okay, पढ़ भी सब कुछ लिया, याद भी सब कुछ कर लिया, लिख भी सब कुछ लिया. Then obviously comes the last part, which is the test analysis. How many of you have given prelims at least once? Anyone? Omkar has given. Okay, which year? Last year.
So this 24.
Last year. And what was the outcome?
Sir,
Negative?
this is for geography.
No, overall prelims
So overall, sir, around 90.
around 90. So
Yeah.
So, when it comes to the test analysis, a lot of students which are not able to clear prelims, okay? So there are few mistakes which almost everyone commits. One of those mistakes is the test analysis. So when we talk to a lot of students, they say, when we ask that, did you analyze your tests which you gave? Yes, sir. How much time did you give to analyze one particular test of 100 questions? So around 1 to 1.5 hours. Proper test analysis of 100 questions takes minimum around 3 to 4 hours. Okay? Second thing, it is not just to analyze the test. You mark the questions, you saw the answers, you went through the explanations. No. When you are analyzing the test for geography as well as overall also, सिर्फ आंसर देखना थोड़े है. दैट द टेस्ट इज ओनली द कंटेंट ना. देर आर अदर ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. Try to identify the questions which you marked incorrect, see their explanations, and then try to think that on the basis of existing knowledge which you had, could that question would have been marked correct or not? Okay, so because why this is true, why this is important, if you are able to understand this thing that on the basis of your existing knowledge you could have marked this answer correct, that means the challenge is in revision. इसका मतलब कि कुछ और नहीं पढ़ना है, जो पढ़ा हुआ है उसको रिवाइज करना है, क्योंकि द क्वेश्चन वॉज इन देयर नोट्स, यू हैव रेड इट. But if you feel that your existing knowledge base was insufficient to answer a question, then you have to go to your notes and you have to see whether that particular topic is mentioned in your notes or in the IAS Compass booklet, the resources which you are referring. ठीक है, अगर इसमें है तो then obviously you have to read it. Even then, the third level, the question came, the content was not there with you, you tried to find that content in your existing resources, that content was not there in those resources also, then the explanation which is given for that question, उस explanation को कहीं पर add कर लो अपने notes में, so that it will form as an additional content to you. उसके लिए you don't have to go for any other book. Okay, you just have to add that explanation somewhere in your notes. I personally feel that for the test solutions and the notes of test solutions, it is better to have a soft copy notes. Okay, because you will be giving a lot of tests, na? In one test there are 100 questions, a lot of hundreds of questions you will be solving, बहुत ज़्यादा content हो जाएगा. So try to have a soft copy notes. Okay, it will be easy to edit them, it will be easy to find the topics in your soft copy notes just 2 days before the prelims. Otherwise I am very sure if you are trying to make notes, handwritten notes, वो बन ही नहीं पाएंगे. You will not be able to make them because it will be too bulky. And if you are trying to take a printout of the explanations of all the tests, वो इतना बड़ा bundle हो जाएगा before prelims, and then you will not revise it. Okay, so just be very intelligent, take few important points from the test explanations, copy paste somewhere in your soft copy, and then keep on also revise those test solutions at least 2 times before prelims. ठीक है, so that is why test analysis is very important. Next, yeah, so this is an example So question from the test series itself, that how we have to approach the test analysis. Okay. So question asks that which of the following statements is are correct regarding the Koppen scheme of classification. Now, this is an example that just let us assume that you have not read Koppen, you left this topic, and the question came in the test. There are two things. One, you can read entire Koppen, which if you want to do, you can do it. It is given in NCRT. But let's say time is very less and you cannot read entire Koppen, then what you should do is that just go through the explanation part. Okay. If I go through this explanation part, it writes the most widely used classification of the climate is the empirical climate classification scheme developed by V. Koppen. Not an important statement. He identified a close relationship between distribution of vegetation and climate. So that means this is an important principle of Koppen, that climate and vegetations are linked. Then it says he selected certain values of temperature and precipitation and related them to the distribution of vegetation and used these values for classifying the climates. Now, in this explanation, this is the most important conceptual part of Koppen classification. The next important part is 5 major groups were there. A, B, C, D, E, वो बात की बात है. Now, if I have not read Koppen, what will I do? I will just take these two facts from the answers explanation, test explanation, and I will write these two facts somewhere in my soft copy notes. So if questions comes surfacial from this, तो ठीक है, हो जाएगा. If question comes slightly at a deeper note from Koppen, तो we will leave it. इतना तो रिस्क लेंगे हम. मतलब this is not true for Koppen. I am saying you have to read Koppen, but this is just an example for other topics. Okay. Then comes mapping of the world map. Again, an important section. Just go through few questions. Are these visible? Okay, color बहुत bright हो गया इसलिए. So see 2015 question. Which of the following countries of the Southwest Asia does not open out to the Mediterranean Sea? This entire region of Western Asia is very important for UPSC prelims. Okay, so you just see the map and you can say, this is a very famous fact also. Which of the following countries border the Mediterranean Sea? Again, see Mediterranean 2015, Mediterranean 2017. Then, which of the following countries which of the following bodies have shrunk immensely or dried up in the recent past? Now, this is basically a current affair based question. Recent past की बात कर रहे हैं. So, such are the sort of questions which are asked from the world map. The question can be purely geographical in nature. The question can be political in nature, that is political boundaries, and the question can be from current affairs in nature. This we discussed in the beginning. So these are the examples of the questions. Okay. Indian map. Now, how you have to study Indian map? Again, now in this picture, read this thing, this para and this para. So up to here, Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalayas. Read it. Give yourselves 1 minute time. Read it carefully. It is visible to everyone. Okay, read it. Read. Done. इतना
Yes, sir.
बड़ा तो नहीं था ये पैराग्राफ. Performance pressure. Okay. So now, When you are reading NCRTs, so you have to visualize the things, what is written, especially in the maps. Okay. So now I will try to just demonstrate. ऐसा नहीं है कि सब कुछ मुझे पता है. Just demonstrate that if I have to read this paragraph, so how would I read? Okay. So I would read it in a way. Line 1 is they are flanked by Nepal Himalayas in the west and Bhutan Himalayas in the east. So that means this is the section of Sikkim. So here you are having Nepal Himalayas and here you are having Bhutan Himalayas. I am drawing this. So this has a reason why I am drawing it, because I am visualizing this. Okay. Next, it is relatively small but is the most significant part of Himalayas. कोई important नहीं है. Known for its fast flowing rivers, fine rivers such as Tista. So that means Tista is originating from Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalayas, right? And Tista is an example of fast flowing rivers. So why Tista would be a fast flowing river? It gives you a fact that this region is having very steep slopes. तभी तो fast flowing होगा. So I am writing steep slopes here. If the region is having a steep slopes, so there will be the formation of deep valleys also, right? Then it is mentioning a peak, that is Kanchenjunga. So here I am drawing Kanchenjunga also. This is my scribbling, okay? So this is Kanchenjunga in Sikkim Himalaya. This is river Tista I am drawing in my rough notebook. Okay. Then the higher reaches of this region are inhabited by Lepcha tribes. So that means this is the higher reaches. And here I will write Lepcha. Okay. The idea is same because I am writing now, so I am giving some time to this whole information. My mind is processing that information while I am writing it. It is getting imprinted in my mind. Next, southern part, particularly Darjeeling Himalayas, has a mixed population of Nepali, Bengali, and tribal from central India. That I can guess it also, so I am not writing it. Okay. The British, taking advantage of the physical conditions of such as moderate slope, thick soil cover, high organic content, well distributed rainfall throughout the year, and mild winters. Because of these physical conditions, the British induced tea plantations. So that means what? This region is also having such characteristics. One. Second, tea plantation requires such characteristics. Okay, so I will write thus the names of these characteristics labeling here in Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalayas. Okay. Next, as compared to the other sections of the Himalayas, these along with Arunachal Himalayas, that means the Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalayas along with Arunachal Himalayas are conspicuous by the absence of Shivalik formations. So now this statement is also incorrect, also correct and important because it is an exception. NCRT is writing this that as compared to other sections, there are no Shivaliks in this particular range. So that means Darjeeling, Sikkim Himalayas and Arunachal Himalayas are having no Shivaliks. Again an exception, so becomes an important fact for paper. Then it says, in place of Shivaliks, here the Duar formation takes place. Then I will write Duars. And I will be opening Atlas also. So I will be locating these things. I will be locating River Tista in Darjeeling, Sikkim Himalayas. I will be locating Kanchenjunga Peak in that area. And I will be locating Duars also. Duars is also written in Atlas. So I will see that, okay, here are the Duar formations taking place. Then Duar formations are important, which have also been used for the development of tea gardens. That means Duar are used for the development of tea gardens. That means Duar basically is having such characteristics, which we have talked in the above lines. Right? Sikkim and Darjeeling Himalayas are also known for their scenic beauty, rich flora fauna. ये हटा दो, ये पता है अपने को. Okay. Now, because here a word has come Duar, but NCRT has not defined actually that what is Duar. So what I can do is just going through the rudimentary studying. So I can go on the Google and see that what are Duars in India. I'll get a definition, I'll write it in my notes, and then I will continue my studying. Obviously, these things are there in IAS Compass also. तो वहां से जब पढ़ोगे तो you will get those definitions. But the only thing is that that is how you have to read anything. Give time while reading, write while reading, imagine and visualize while reading, and try to memorize while reading. ये नहीं कि आज पढ़ लेता हूं, याद अगली बार करूंगा. आज ही करना है. धीरे धीरे पढ़ो और याद करो. Okay? And in one paragraph, you will read NCERT. Na? In every paragraph, you will get a lot of information which will help you in your answers. Next. So same, these are also the screenshots taken to explain the same things. For example, when we see here the small rivers flowing towards the west. Okay. So here when we see the rivers flowing towards the Arabian Sea have short courses. Why do they have short courses? NCERT is asking you a question. Try to find the answer for this. Okay? That why west flowing rivers have short courses and east flowing rivers have long courses. Why west flowing rivers form estuaries and east flowing rivers form delta? Ye question the UPSC has already asked. Okay? So find out the smaller rivers of Gujarat. The Shetrunji is one such river which rises near this area. Not districts are not very important. Now here river Shetrunji has come. Open Gujarat map and see where river Shetrunji is located. Right? Then the Dhadar river rises near Ghantar village. Villages are not important in Panchamahal districts. Then Sabarmati and Mahi are two famous rivers of Gujarat. ये सारी रिवर्स के नाम वेस्ट के नीचे ही आ रहे हैं ना. दैट मीन्स दे आर द एग्जांपल्स ऑफ स्मॉल वेस्ट फ्लोइंग रिवर्स. रिवर वैतरना राइजेस फ्रॉम ट्रिम्बक हिल्स नियर नासिक डिस्ट्रिक्ट. राइट. शरावती इज अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट रिवर विच इज originating and going through Karnataka. So the point is that these two small paragraphs, then they have also mentioned the name of a waterfall. These two small paragraphs, जो कि NCERT ने सिर्फ फॉर्मेलिटी के लिए लिख दिया है, they have not given much information about these rivers, but at least they have given the names. So if you are following NCERT, every line and paragraph is that's why important. Read these things, remember the names. जितना दिया हुआ उतना तो याद कर सकते हैं ना. Beyond this, you can go in IAS Compass. But at least NCERT में the things which are mentioned, try to memorize because this is going to help you. The question UPSC can ask the question that which of the following rivers are the west flowing rivers? Okay. Now see the questions here which UPSC has asked. For example, in 2015, consider the following rivers: Vamsadhara, Indravati, Pranhita, Pennar. Which of the above are the tributaries of Godavari? So again, tributaries पे तो questions आते ही आते हैं. And you have to memorize the tributaries, all the important tributaries. I agree, a lot to be memorized, but it is the only way. So you have to memorize. All the tributaries are given in your IAS Compass. Hand-drawn map बने हुए हैं, तो पढ़ लेना उसको. 2017, with reference to River Teesta, we have seen this question initially also. And then with reference to Indus River, which of the following four rivers, three of them pour into one of them and join Indus direct? Again, tributary-based question. Not interested in answers of these questions. But the thing is that they are telling you how you have to approach Indian maps, especially the rivers. And then comes the last section of strategy. After this, you can ask your doubts. So this is especially true for geography. Other subjects, maybe it can be true, but for geography, it is true. While reading and preparing geography, you cannot segregate your approach that this is we are doing for prelims and this is a section we are doing for mains, except the location of hills, rivers, and tributaries. So exact location of all the hills, mountains, plateaus, rivers, and tributaries, that is a factual part which will come only in prelims. Otherwise, everything is integrated. For example, we saw the question related to the P waves and S waves which have been asked. अब prelims में भी पूछा है. Question in mains can be formed that explain the seismographic waves, seismic waves. There can be a question. We saw a question on tropical cyclones and prelims. In mains, Tropical cyclones pe questions have already been asked, that why in so and so region you find a lot of tropical cyclones, right? In prelims, you can't find the questions on primary rocks or igneous rocks examples match the column type. In mains, the question has already been asked. Are you getting it? In prelims, the question have been asked in relation to the isotherms over the oceans we just saw. In mains, the question can be asked that explain the horizontal and vertical distribution of temperature in oceans. Okay, so that is why always follow an integrated approach. First read, then write, then revise and again write. Once the content is there in your head, then try to attempt the prelims tests, go through their explanations. After attempting around 200 questions of geography, complete full length geography papers, at least 2 tests, going through the explanations. If you are getting marks more than 70, 75, then come to answer writing on the basis of same knowledge. If you are getting around 30 to 40 marks in prelims test out of 200, then that is not the right time to begin with answer writing. I feel this. Okay, तो ऐसे jump नहीं करना है answer writing पे, right? Because you can write good answers only when you have all the information in your head, है ना? So I agree that even not all the information, लेकिन कुछ तो हो ना. That is why if you are scoring 70-75 marks in tests in prelims of geography, then you can start your answer writing. So first reach that level, then answer writing comes. And always follow an integrated approach. So here just an example of ocean currents. जैसे कि मैंने example दे दिए हैं. A lot of questions in prelims can also be asked in relation to ocean currents, and a lot of questions can be asked in mains also for ocean currents. See, in 2015, the question was asked in this manner: what explains the eastward flow of the equatorial countercurrent? So here you have the north equatorial current, here you have the south equatorial current, है ना? So they come, go, and like this, and then here you have counter equatorial current. What is the reason for this is what the question is asked by UPSC. Fine. Come to mains previous year question. Again, here the question is, what are the forces that influence the ocean currents? Describe their role in fishing industry. So when you will read about the forces and factors responsible for influencing ocean currents, तो वहीं पर तो you will read ना that what is the factor responsible for counter equatorial current, which is asked in prelims. So this is what we mean by the ocean integrated approach, that when you are reading, forget कि prelims में पढ़ना है कि mains में पढ़ना है. पहले always read as an in an integrated manner. जब prelims आने वाला होगा ना, then you will segregate few things that now, because after 2 months you are having prelims, so you will be interested in locating the key facts for prelims. जब mains आने वाला होगा तो there will be a change in the bent of mind. But when initially you are studying, you have to follow an integrated approach. Okay? This is just an example, the screenshot we discussed that for explain the factors which affect the movement of oceanic currents. Screenshot is taken from the QIP class. So this is how we study that ocean current significance, and there we talk about geomorphic, climatologic, ecological, economic, where you will see the fishing grounds, and there will be explanation which was asked here also. Na? Describe their role in fishing industries of the world. So this is a thing which I want to discuss, and this is the strategy. मतलब ऐसा कोई ब्रह्मास्त्र नहीं होता है. It is just a commonsensical things which you have to do when you are studying. Okay, कोई ऐसे अलग से strategy उठ के नहीं आ जाती है. Just use your common sense and follow the basic conventional traditional approach. Read, write, revise. Read, write, revise, read, write, revise. यही करते चलो बस, and attempt the test. Now I am open to questions. If you have any questions, you can ask. Yeah.
So do we have to
Anyone?
make separate notes also along with this approach?
Separate notes.
Yes, sir. Sir, our own notes do we have to make along with the separate?
What do you think? Those notes will benefit you or not?
Sir, I can't tell exactly because I don't have a clear idea about how to make notes and whether they are relevant along with Compass and NCRTs.
Okay, देखो यार. So now again, this is also a common question for a lot of students. ठीक है. Note making. What do you think that what is the relevance of note making? Relevance of note making is to cut short the things which are given in elaborated manner in the textbooks or any book which you are referring. उसको short करना है, cut down करना है, so that before prelims you are able to revise that whole content in one go. This is the basic idea of note making, है ना?
Yes.
So हाँ, तो if this is the basic idea, so obviously it is beneficial to make notes. So yes, you should make notes, but when to make notes and how to make notes is a more important question. When you are reading any subject or geography, let's say, for the first time, just read it, don't make notes. Second time, just read it, don't make notes. Read and write, scribbling करते रहना है. Okay? First, complete the subject at least 3 to 4 times by reading and scribbling. Okay. After that, when a lot of things will already be in your head, then start making notes. Otherwise, what will happen when you will begin with writing notes, you will just copy paste all the content which is given in your book. So, वो तो you will be just ending up writing a new NCRT or the IAS Compass booklet. वो नहीं करना है. Okay. So, when to start? First, complete the subject at least 3 times. See the PYQs. Okay. See the PYQs also, because that will tell you that when you are making notes, which things are relatively more important and less important. Okay. Second
Yes.
is how to make notes. How to make notes में भी वही है. Now let's say, so my name is Gaurav Tripathi, and let's say the question or someone says that I have to make notes on me so that I can produce it in front of someone, let's say in interview, or I have to write an essay about me 3 hours later. So I have to jot down few important points for me, है ना? So that I can revise those points and I can directly speak about it in the interview, or I write an essay about me. Suppose this is a task. So now when I will be making notes on me, will I be writing that my name is Gaurav Tripathi in my notes? ये तो पता है ना मुझे. तो ये I won't write this in my notes. Even I won't be writing that I am presently working as a geography faculty at RAU'S IAS. ये तो पता है ना मुझे. I will not write that presently I am living in this and this city. पता है ना मुझे. What I will be writing in my notes is that if I am writing that my hobby is poetry, okay, and if I am going to an interview, then I will write 2 or 3 important poetries for me which I want to tell to the IO, that the suppose if they ask, so that I am able to tell that these are written poetries written by me. तो मैं अपने notes में वही लिखूंगा which in general I do not remember. It is there is in my subconscious mind, or I tend to forget the things. Only those things I will be writing in my notes. I am not going to write the rudimentary facts that my name is this and this. वो तो मैं वैसे भी वहां पे बता ही दूंगा ना, when I'll introduce myself. Same is true for the subject notes making also. Now suppose we are making a notes on cyclones. Now, again, I am telling this is a very subjective thing and it will depend on the existing knowledge which you have. Suppose हमने 4 बार cyclone पढ़ लिया. We have read cyclones for 4 times, but still we are not able to define cyclones. If you are not able to define cyclones, then you have to write a line that cyclones are the rotating wind columns having low pressure area in the center. Okay. But if I have read cyclones 4 times and I know the definition of cyclones and I know that I can write it in the answer when asked, so I will not be writing this thing. The only thing is, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा I will write low pressure. cyclone. Then again, I will divide it tropical and temperate. These are my notes, short notes. Then these tropical cyclones are what? Convectional. These temperate cyclones are what? Frontal. Right? These tropical cyclones move from east towards west. Temperate cyclones move from west towards east. What point is कि notes making is very subjective thing. The notes which you have made might be totally irrelevant for me. The notes which I have made might be totally irrelevant for you because they are personalized. Na? I have made notes as per my need. I know that which things I forget and which things I remember. तो ऐसे करना है note making. Okay? So now I hope that note making is clear to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any other question?
So one doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, regarding the factual questions, what I'm personally facing is that how to, prepare and when to prepare for that. Like for example, national parks over like in the compass also there are numerous national parks, Ramsar sites, and
Yeah.
and somewhere also in the news also nowadays there is certain questions where the elephant corridors are being asked, which two parks are in the elephant corridors. So when to first of all switch to these type of factual questions, like since
Hmm.
now we are in December and I think from March we'll get to the QIP classes. And
Yeah.
secondly, sir, how to memorize these?
Okay. So let's say you are a teacher and I am a student and I am asking you this question. What answer will give you to me? Think about it.
So when
I am
to
asking you, sir, there are around more than 100 national parks. And the questions are also being asked, and the range of questions are different. Sometimes the questions are asked in a way that this national park is located in which of the following states. Sometimes the questions are very much detailed. बहुत सारी चीजें दी हुई हैं. So obviously more than 100 national parks, I cannot go through every information for every national park. If there are 100 national parks, then obviously 100 rivers might be passing through it, 100 types of mountain ranges would be there, 100 types of tribes would be there, 100 types of wildlife species would be there. तो इतना तो मैं नहीं याद कर पाऊंगा. So sir, what should I do? Now tell me.
probably the ones are that are in the current affairs शायद से वही सिर्फ याद कर सकते हैं or
हाँ,
the important ones which are in the NCERT. probably.
यही मेरा आंसर है. So when there are a lot of facts, for example, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, Ramsar sites, है ना, etc. So you divide the content in 3 layers. The most important one are the level 1. This I tell in QIP classes also. Okay. The most important one are the level 1 national parks, let's say. Which are the most important national parks? So if I ask you a question that give me the names of around 15 to 20 national parks. Give me the names of 15 to 20 national parks. So the names which you get in your mind for the first 15-20 national parks, those are the most important national parks. है ना? So when I ask you, obviously you will be taking the name of Kaziranga National Park, Jim Corbett, Ranthambore, Bandipur, Manas. So the most important names first which are coming into your head around 15 to 20, those are the most important national parks. Similarly for species, if I ask you, give me the names of 15 wildlife species, you will say tiger, lion, elephant, है ना? So the first which are coming to your head are the most important ones. So the level 1 things have to be dealt in much detail. Or for all the level 1 national parks, which is the most important one, so try to memorize much details about them: river, mountain peaks, tribes, wildlife species, aerial extent, states, etc. है ना सबके? Then comes level 2. Level 2 will be those national parks which are there in current affairs also. Now in current affairs, many of the national parks will be those which are the most important one, that is from level 1. And there will be few national parks which you might, for example, I wrote 15 national parks which came into my mind and I forgot to write Kaziranga. अब वो न्यूज़पेपर में आ गया. So now I will say, हाँ यार काजीरंगा भी तो important था. I just forgot. So level 2 are the current affair national park. Or in current affairs there is some national park which you might have not heard about it but are coming in newspaper, let's say. तो फिर वो करना है. Those are level 2 national parks. So those are also to be dealt in detail. Maybe not in that much detail. जितना भी कर पाओ उतना कर लो. Okay. Then is the level 3 national parks. All the remaining national parks, because national parks are finite in number. वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरीज तो बहुत ज़्यादा हैं, मोर देन 500, उसको नहीं कर सकते. फॉर नेशनल पार्क्स, फॉर रामसर साइट्स, the remaining sites which are there, Ramsar or national parks, what we can do is that we can just identify the states in which they are located. Okay, just the name of the state, क्योंकि उसके beyond we will not be able to do it. But yes, memorize the states. Try to remember the states, because it might happen na कि there is a whole lot of paragraph written, lot of information is given, and you are asked that which are the following which are the following national parks we are talking about. Among all that 10 pieces of information which is written in paragraph, it might happen that one piece is related to a particular state, on the basis of which you will be able to mark the answer. Cost benefit will be better to memorize the state, uske beyond nahi jana hai. And in level 3 also you can include those national parks or sanctuaries which are falling in your region, in your state, and then leave it to the luck. Suppose I belong to state Uttar Pradesh, let's say, so I will be memorizing the important sites of Uttar Pradesh, Ramsar bhi aur wo bhi hai. You belong to Kerala, I belong to Chandigarh, I belong to Punjab, jis bhi region se ho, because why? This will be relatively easy to memorize because you already will be aware about those sites. अपने रीजन के बारे में ज्यादा पता होता है. Okay, so now if the luck is in your side, so हो सकता है क्वेश्चन आपके रीजन से आ जाए. That will be a pure luck based game. So that is how you have to go for a lot of factual things and divide it in levels, that this is level 1, 2 and 3, and on the basis of it you decide that at what depth you have to go. Yeah, anyone else? Any other question, any other doubt? Okay, so let's go. Let's wind up the session. Fine. So we have talked, I guess, about every aspect. Even still, if you have some doubts, so you people must be having my number, so you can directly contact me also. Okay. Not having the number? Soon, Vipin. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So my number is 94653742125. Okay. So you can directly WhatsApp me also your doubts and I'll be happy to solve them. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All the very best. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So you will be
Thank you,
sharing this
sir.
PDF as well.
Come again?
You will be sharing this PDF as well.
Yeah, I'll share the PDF.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.